Hi, everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. Good to see many of you again. And thank you so much for putting up with any technical glitches today. That's part of the fun of being in a live stream. Thanks for those of you that commented. I did see something weird happen on my end as well. That's what live is like, folks. That's what it's like. Apollo's back in the background, so let's just start again, have some fun. Not a big deal. Let's see. He moved out of frame here, so I'll pull him up here in just a second. But what we're going to do today is look at a special topic called spilling the spiritual tea. And basically, this is one of my favorite ones because it gives us a chance to see things exactly as they need to be and not let them bother us or get in the way. So there's Apollo saying, Dad, don't sweat it. We're going to be fine. And to everybody else out there, this is life. This is how it goes. All right, so the organization for today is as follows. We're going to take a look first at some channeled messages. You got a little preview of them. I'll do my best to go back and channel them out again. And then we're going to take a look at a 7-day forecast, elemental breakdown, and then we'll get into the special topic for today. Channeled messages, we were talking about it. I remember them because I just talked about it. There are 3 central points in the channel messages. The first one is clarity. The second one was, well, actually it was clarity and then timing. And we'll come up with, oh yeah, it's also like, are you in, are you out? So the clarity piece, I was shown clouds in my mind's eye. And basically, when this happens, it's often a chance. Kind of think of the 7 of Cups in tarot. It's a chance for you to ask important questions. So if you're not clear on something this week, get the clarity that you need. And I talked a lot about, in the daily card reading, taking your time and energy to plan and to sort of get organized in your own life. So often we put that energy externally, friends, family, children, people that are leaning on us. So today is a day where you really want to put the energy inward and take care of yourself. And then when we were looking at, once you have that clarity, that purpose, that intention, then you can pick the timing. The timing almost makes itself clear to you. But just like when you're trying to plan a commute in traffic or maybe a trip on a plane, there's certain seasonal, sort of energies that make it a little bit more difficult to get out there. So I'd like you to really think about what and when you want to, what you want to do, when you want to do it. And then there may have to be a choice in your life. I was shown a scarab beetle, like, are you in or are you out? And this could be so many things, folks, like from a relationship where you're not really feeling it, to a job where you're kind of half checked out, to just, even like if you're a student and in a course at school and you're like, this isn't it, there's always a chance to course correct, right? And sometimes you have to just follow that intuition, all right? This is actually a little bit better the second time around because I got some additional things in live channeling, so thanks, Spirit, I guess. So that last piece is super important. I think the are you in or are you out was the big piece of the spiritual tea, where Spirit was like, no, Nicholas, you have to say even more about that. So anyway, thank you guys, everybody. Now we can get started. We're going to do a 7-day forecast. I already pulled the first card, and it's not going to be visible when I do this on replay, but we had the Ace of Cups. We're going to just put this out as a bonus card so you guys can see me shuffle in real time, but trust me, that was the first card. So we'll just have this kind of be like a catalyst for, for the week ahead. We're going to re-pull a card for today and continue. Again, it is fun being live, and after having done it so many years, I don't get freaked out with stuff like that. All right. I had a grad professor once that told me, like, so when I was in graduate school, I did video editing, filmmaking, stuff like that. And at the time, we were using these very not so dependable drives, jazz drives. They were like zip drives, but they were not, you could sneeze and lose data. So you had to have lots of copies of stuff. And I remember sometimes if a student would lose a project or whatever, he would say, now come back to it with the clarity of what went right, what went wrong, and you're going to do better this time. A lot of times when you are really, really clear on it, it's just all there. you can rebuild. It's very much like Phoenix rising from the ashes. So we get a little bit of that in today's reading because I had to start again. And the thing in life is it doesn't matter how many times you have to do it. Just do it right. One of those attempts, and then you graduate, all right? Let's get started here. We have a special card here that's going to basically help us navigate the whole week. This is what I pulled before I had to repeat. So the Ace of Cups is touching the entire week. And this is going to help you with the are you in, are you out piece. Does it feel right here? Because the Ace of Cups is the heart space. And what I love about this particular crow is it's taking a moment to sort of drink in and think, do I like this? How does it feel? How does it taste? And so I'd love for you to do a little bit of that this week. Okay? Now let's go ahead and start off the traditional reading here. We're going to look at the energy of today, this Sunday. And for this Sunday, we have an introspective Page of Pentacles in reverse. Some of you are taking things, time, energy, resources in your life and saying, I need to put a little bit more of that here for myself. I need this for me. Or you're noticing that there might be a lack of something and you're articulating that. Pages are communicative. They don't sit back silently and wait for things to be done. Maybe they're not as active as a knight, but they will speak to an absence of something or a need for something and put it out there for discussion. So it's worth asking, it's worth presenting, and stick to the facts because this is one of the most fact-based suits. Page of Pentacles is get it in black and white. Show why from a monetary sort of like perspective or from a time and energy perspective that this is going to be good for somebody. Make a good case, basically, right? And then ultimately just put some energy in yourself today. This could be a decision to spend a little bit more time and energy on education, self-care, anything that really kind of ignites your passion or interest. So there we go. So the traditional Seven of Pentacles is an impatience card, and there's growth, but it takes time to realize that that growth is there. And so what I would encourage you to do today is to not rush yourself. So here's your traditional one. And so you can see that things are going, things are growing, things are moving. However, sometimes there is this impatience, like I'm supposed to be further than I am. I was just talking to Virgo about this in the reading that I posted yesterday. It isn't about when. We keep getting that today. It's more important that the match is there, that it feels right. So don't rush something. Don't overcommit. Don't get impatient with yourself. And what we can see in this particular illustration is the bird just taking time to nest and get used to the energy in this moment in time. Okay? So get comfortable. Get your bearings. I think that's going to help out as well. All right, looking at Tuesday, things start to move in the right direction. We have the Magician card here, very much like the Phoenix Rising, really leaning on the energy of the wand, so taking an idea to the next level, even though you can put your energy anywhere. This is the clarity of thought that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So get clear in your thoughts, get clear in your ideas, and make a choice to really move forward. The other thing that this is a good day for also experimenting with new things and seeing like how does it feel? What do I kind of like on a chemistry and on an emotional level feel about this? I mention this because I view the magician like the alchemist or chemist, where you can transmute something, but in a relationship, in a job, in an opportunity, you feel it or you don't. So the inner out energy is going to be very much on trusting your gut. And this is asking you to take the cup from the altar on the magician and really say, do I feel it? And if I do, then let's take the wand and take it to the next level. Okay? All right. So in the middle of the week, we have a healing energy coming through and Three of Swords reversed. I've seen this for a few signs this month, so this doesn't surprise me. In the reverse state, this is really an opportunity to say, does this sort of like holding on to grief, pain, or anxiety really serve me any longer? Am I still angry at that person? Am I still being served by that emotion? Because if you're not, then it's time to turn in a new direction or put it to rest, because the next card in this suit is the Four of Swords, and we see someone resting, getting recharged, and then they're going to have that ace right beneath them that they can use to basically move on to the next thing. So it's time to release something. We also want to put a little bit more focus on Wednesday on physical well-being. So we've talked a lot about emotional and mental health, but also physical health is important too. Exercise in and of itself can actually be a lovely way to open up the healing channels, to get the endorphins flowing, to really allow you to see things from a different perspective. But ultimately, this is healing. It takes time for the heart to heal. And anybody that has gone through grief, disappointment, or any emotion for that matter that's really, really intense, you know that weeks, months, and years really do the healing. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And for each of you, just be patient with that. So I think that there's a nice connection also between the Monday and Wednesday energy of impatience and wishing it would happen overnight to the realization that it took a while to get there. It's going to take a while to get out. I had a friend that told me that when I was going through just a challenge in life. It wasn't even like a loss or a death. It was like a friendship that blew up. And she said, you put a lot into that. It took a lot of energy. It's going to take time for that person's energy to get out of your mind and get out of your life. And she was right. So give it time, folks. Wednesday's a day of subtle healing, but it might be for some of you just that it's like a light bulb switched, or you've changed directions and you're like, okay, enough now. All right. So let's see what's coming through on Thursday. We have the Ace of Swords in the reverse state. So I always like to look at this as a revisionary card. It's like, you can even see it here. It's like a pen on paper, but the pen has red ink, and you can circle things and say, I like this, but I don't like that. Or you can change your mind. You can think to yourself, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to do this instead. And you articulate, I don't want to, or no, or how about this? So it's brief, it's succinct, it can be constructively critical, it can be a change of direction. And it's a chance to edit, review, revise, rebuild. So it's a powerful card, but sometimes we are afraid of taking that step towards change. Nonetheless, Thursday's a day for change. As we look at Friday, it's more self-care, which is interesting. So we have the Queen of Cups coming through, and she's in the reverse state. And so for many of you, this is just, and I'm looking here at the calendar. So Thursday's the 31st, Friday's the 1st. So this is actually like Day of the Dead and things like that. So we are kind of, there could be some things from the past where emotions are a little bit high. You might be thinking of somebody that you miss or that you love or that's no longer in your life. And so this is just a day of remembrance, of healing, of kindness. This is also a highly psychic and sensitive day. Queen of Cups is one of the ultimate satellite cards in the minor arcana, and she's reminding you to focus on what you're tuning into. We can turn the satellite towards shadow or sadness or just despair, or we can turn it towards possibilities. So I think it's important to let stuff go, get it out, talk to someone, release, channel, but then also open up and say, what is the pot at the end of the rainbow? What is out there? What's the silver lining? What else can I focus on? Because that actually gives you the sense of empowerment. It's a great day for any sort of creative activities that you might have, and it's a great day for psychic or intuitive work. So there you go. When it comes to relationships, tread lightly. You or someone that you love may just need a little bit more time and a little bit more patience than you're used to showing. So, play it by ear and be very cognizant of that. As we look at the weekend, we have Queen of Wands coming through. So we really just have one day here of kind of like I said, changing the focus. And then by Saturday, we have things moving in a really positive trajectory. So Queen of Wands, ultimate boss card. I kind of like that there's teamwork on this one. So we have a couple of lions working together. So power in numbers. And sometimes there can be 2 stars, 2 leaders, 2 really powerful boss energies coming forth. And this Queen of Wands is saying, I'm comfortable, I'm confident, I'm secure enough that I can coexist with that. Now, this could be a great day for love as well. And we just see, might be some Leo energy coming through, but we just see this really great energy of power and being okay, being in the presence of power as well. Because what? Like attracts like. So I would say so far, Saturday is potentially the highlight of the week because of what we're seeing here. I like that they didn't really put they're kind of sunflowers. They're just almost like paper mache. But with the sunflower, I always like to remind you, are you the leader or the follower? because sunflowers follow the sun, but there are two stars here. So the one thing that might be important if you are in a team is just to make sure that you're on the same page. And if you are working together and there's like a melded group, that everybody's on the same page and that there's not differing points of view or differing sort of like instructions, particularly if it's something project oriented or even like a family trying to meet at the same place. Just make sure communication is clear. Okay, and now 1 week from today, we have Queen of Pentacles. So 3 queens in a row: Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. This is a day to really get comfortable with something. So this is a nesting card. A lot of times I remind people that when there's Queen or King of Pentacles, you want to focus on your environment. It looks like it's okay because the card is upright, but it could also be a day where you decide to work on home improvement, fixing the car, fixing something that you spend time in, and I'm all behind that. It's also a great time to talk about money, to make some plans with budgeting your resources and your time. Scheduling is a part of this. It's a different kind of boss energy. It's getting a handle on everything and feeling really confident and grounded. So we'll talk about it here as I look at highlights and challenges for the week ahead. So we have 3 queens in a row. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday look really, really good energetically. Friday is just a little bit of fear, I think, entering in. But by the time the weekend comes, we have Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. So we have boss energy, and we have taking an idea and grounding it and pulling it all together. I think that the challenge in the week is probably Wednesday. The biggest challenge is that, and Monday. Patience and healing are your biggest challenges this week. And discernment with the Magician. You can do anything you set your mind to, but you really have to choose and sort of like put your energy behind it 100% and say, this is what I want to do. Ace of Cups, again, as the floating bonus card for this week. If you feel like doing it, absolutely do it. You have to have this sort of heart connection. If the heart isn't into it, it's going to be very hard and it may not even be advantageous to do it. All right, let me get everything organized here on the table. And what we're going to look at next is the elements. So let me get everything queued up and we'll go there next. So this is the only portion of the reading that is going to be specific to the signs. Everything else, it's for everybody here. So let me go ahead and select a deck for this. I think I'm going to use the Afro Goddess because it definitely does spill the tea. It's one of the most honest decks here. All right, so let's take a look at fire, earth, air, and water and see what additional messages want to present themselves. Okay, fire, earth, air, and water. Let's begin with fire signs first. Like I said, this one doesn't hold back. We have the death card in reverse. And I really love the upright death card because her robe creates the symbol of Ankh, which is immortal life and power as well. When it's upside down, it reminds me a bit of the Hanged Man energy. And so death in reverse actually is stagnation. So this is an end to stagnation. It's basically saying it is time this week, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, to take a first step and to know that you can get through this. I view death as a portal card here in tarot. And because this week, we can put a time marker on it. It's the 31st and the 1st, Halloween, Day of the Dead. It's your chance to really put something to rest too. So I feel like by Friday of this week, you should be clear on things, and Thursday and Friday are going to be really pivotal in clarifying the release and then what the next step is. So think of it as a door. Something has to step out, something else is going to step in. And this week you get to decide. You may also be dealing with a rapid change in your life. So world energy reversed or death reversed, it's not always stagnation. It can also be a rapid change. So someone just dropped a bombshell on you. They're like, okay, this is what I'm doing, or I'm moving here, or let's do this together. Meanwhile, your mind is kind of going a mile a minute thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Yes, you can. It's just rapid change. So rapid change, but the clarity is coming around Halloween. And so don't despair, just kind of embrace it, because everything in life, like the one constant is change. So it's so interesting sometimes that we have this attachment to predictability and sameness, because we don't stay the same. Our bodies change, our environments change, time continues to tick, even though it is a construct. So if you can start to lean into the change, you can start to lean into the power. Death is one of the most powerful cards because it is also metamorphosis or catalyst. So you can really take something and grow from it in this period of time. Okay? Change is imminent. Change is powerful. Lean into it. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Okay. Great energy for fire. Let's go to Earth. Earth, we have the Hermit card. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Spiritual development, internal work, researching, learning, developing something, taking your time, and just really getting comfortable with yourself. If I pull it really close, you can see her third eye is open, even though her two physical eyes are closed. We see a moth being drawn to that flame. So for many of you, it is your deep wisdom and this sort of maturity that is going to pull in the next opportunity. And if you're like, Nicholas, I don't have that. Yes, you do. But it's about really fostering that and saying, let's just take a deep breath. Let's do the homework. Let me show that sense of it's almost like power in neutrality is what I get with this. So not wearing your heart on your sleeve, just feeling really confident. It's either going to happen or it's not. I'm prepared for both sides of the equation. You're going to be okay. Students, this is a great week for you. Anybody that wants to learn, anybody that wants to go inward, the Hermit is all about that. So be kind to yourself, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Put the energy within. You may be pulling back a little bit from social endeavors this week, but you're going to exit feeling really, really clear, cleansed, and confident. Okay? Let's move on to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Power time for you. So we have the Empress card, time to birth, create, or start something new. She's upright in this particular spread here. So this is also about stepping to the forefront and saying what you have to say. Your point of view is valid. It's needed in this moment in time. And all that's missing maybe for some of you is just taking the first step or opening up. This is also very developmental. So just like we were talking about with the Hermit, you can also work on yourself, but you may be doing it in a more social or active way. You may be partnering up with someone else. And I feel this sense of being emboldened, feeling stronger, feeling more confident, feeling more powerful this week. So lean into that. And especially, again, I think everything sort of really gets strong towards the end of the week. So give yourself time to get there, but the road and the journey is totally worth it. Okay. Now let's wrap up here with water. It's about finding your footing. Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles isn't always being strapped for resources. It can be overcommitting or having two equally alluring opportunities in front of you, and you're really having to make a difficult choice. So when this difficult choice comes through, we got the bonus card this week with the Ace of Cups. What really feels right to you? What gives you less cause for concern? There's one of these two that you prefer. I want you to lean into the preference. Even if you can't articulate it, that's your intuition and instinct coming through. It is very, very important this week to say no to things that don't make sense. It's very important to make a choice and be decisive, even if that's not normally part of your nature. So Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, the choosing is the hard part, but then everything gets easy after that, is what I see, because then you're left with an ace, and you can really put your energy into that. And know this, when you speak up and say, I need help, or this isn't enough, or no, it shows power, boundaries, limits, that you also are not going to just let people, walk all over you. So it is hard to sometimes articulate the limit, but invariably people respect you more in the long run. Okay? All right. That is the elemental breakdown. Now let's get ready for the special topic. Before I do that, if you enjoy what you see here, it's 100% free to just simply like and subscribe. So please do that if you haven't already. Now let's take a look at the special topic for today, which is kind of sassy, and I know you guys you like that. Let's see. I have a couple of decks that I'm thinking of using. I'm very much drawn to this one. This is the Steampunk deck. I also got a request. I'm thinking what's going to speak loudest. Let's see. Hold on. I like the Tarot de Saint Croix too, and it's very Halloween-y. So let's see. One of these two is going to volunteer itself. So let's see. Instead of doing polls, I let the cards decide, or Spirit decide now. So let's see. Knight of Wands. It's going to be hard to beat. Page of Wands. Okay, the Knight. Very close. Okay, so the Knight of Wands in the center is our first card. Let's close our eyes one more time and just recalibrate. So this is spilling the spiritual tea. This is what you need to know, even if you don't want to know it. Let's see what Spirit has to say for this next week ahead. And it's a powerful week because we have Halloween coming through as well. Very cool that we got another crow coming through, or raven in this case. No, it is crow. This deck that I had previously was so tattered, so it's nice to have a new version of it again. Thank you again to those of you that purchased it for me. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was one of my favorite decks from before, and I had it a long time. Well used, and now we have a nice renewed version of it. Okay, I love that abundance is popping up here in this spread, so this is going to be a good week, even if there's some challenges as we see here. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's start off with the catalyst. So, court the feminine, the divine feminine. This would be connecting with Empress energy, or any of the queen cards, Queen of Wands, Cups, Swords, etc. So creative and introspective is basically the name of the game this week, and developmental, nurturing energy. And sometimes that's harder because we're just so used to seeing results. And this is saying, yeah, but take your time. Do it right the first time if you can. And even if you have to start over like I did today, just take a deep breath and know that the second time will be fine. There's no reason to rush or get nervous, right? This is also a great time to heal relationships with divine feminine energy in your life. Mother, sister, aunt, grandparent. And again, I really don't read gender, just the most nurturing person in your life. If there's some healing to be done there, absolutely. And just take care of yourself. Love yourself. Love begins within. So before we get too far into the spread, I like to just see kind of like the highlights of it. I think one of the things that I love here is that we do have wisdom ending this spread. We have the true Six of Pentacles here in the deep past. So balance, wisdom, some love. There's actually some love and partnership energy coming through, but we have to overcome fear. So overall, it's pretty good. Let's start with the center card. This is the one that picked the deck for us today. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. And so don't overthink, folks. That's the first thing. Some of you are so either lost in thought or second guessing yourself that it becomes difficult to take the first step. And it is really just about allowing yourself to take one step in that direction. And if you're having a hard time articulating it, show it. Show and tell is what what Wands does best here, especially a Page of Wands. So rather than speaking something into oblivion, that's just like, well, this is what I have in mind, or let me sketch it out, or let's go get inspired too. If you're lacking inspiration, this is also about connecting to things in your life that really kind of light up your internal and your internal engine, since we're looking at steampunk here. So the other thing here is there is a time and place to be stubborn. There may be an opportunity this week where you say, you know what, I really feel passionate about this and I want to do it. And I'm behind that as well. So this is manifestation in real time, 3 of Wands. And as you can see here, as he's looking with his like telescope or whatever, it's about where you're looking. It's interesting that the ships are over there and he's just a little bit off from that. So I'd love for you to be open to receive something now. Sometimes we're like, I'm ready, but we don't add that piece. I'm ready to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms, and I'm ready to receive it now. It's not a demand. It's more just letting spirit know that there's, and by now you could say, you know, like within the next week or two, show it to me. Because spirit works in a much larger time span. If you just say, I'm ready, they're like, okay, well, we're ready too. And when we're ready to show that you're ready, we'll make it all happen. Just put a more imminent energy, like, let's make this happen. I'm ready to show up. Show me the synchronicity right here, right now. And so I believe that you can make something happen faster than you think. You may need to look in a different direction. So it could be literally a geographical direction. If you're looking for love, opportunity, job, something that you really care about, like try to get out of your geographical zone. You could also be looking at a different way to do it, or a different space to do it. And so it's just opening yourself up beyond the projected or expected way, shape, or form. It can happen, but a little bit different than you thought. So be very, very clear on manifesting and make sure that spirit understands that you're ready right here, right now, okay? The other thing with this is it's a great time to travel if you're interested to travel. And anything that you sort of set into motion this week can almost in real time start to manifest as well. So the gears are moving, the ships are moving, opportunity is knocking. Keep showing up, folks. Now is the time, okay? As we take a look at your deep past, initially I thought I saw this in the Crow card, but it was the 7. So I'm picking up on the 6 here, and this is a perfect one. I don't have to show the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith because we see the hands outstretched, we see the scales, and we see a person thinking, I don't know, how much can I do? How much do I want to give? And that's exactly what you should be thinking is this moving the needle forward? When I help this person or when I invest in this thing, do I see a result? Do I see a result that I like, that I feel good about? And if I don't, maybe I shouldn't do this. So you have to be picky and discerning with 6 of Pentacles. That means occasionally disappointing someone, but here's a way to look at it. When you identify that there is a cap or a limit on how much or how often you can show up or give something to someone, you open them up to receive the right channel, the right connection. So it's recognizing that there might be a better way, okay? And this can also just be finding balance in your life, work-life balance, for instance. Let me take a drink and then we'll talk about the 9 of Pentacles. Suffice it to say, I have to sort of like highlight this. I love that we did get the Queen of Pentacles towards the end of the week on the 7-day forecast because we're getting a lot of good resource cards. So for those of you that have been feeling crunched for time or money or energy, I feel like that's shifting this week. And the interesting thing is, and it really doesn't matter when the center card is touching all of these and it's basically red is upright, but 3 of Wands in particular is touching the 9 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So when you really feel good about something, it opens things up and the light starts to shine. And when you take your time, that also, people start to recognize that. And that's the thing with the 9 of Pentacles. Normally there's a snail on it. You know, I love the snail. It's not in this particular card, but you know, it's part of the traditional illustration. What is part of this though is basically it takes time and energy for everything to grow and for you to be able to reap the rewards of the work that you're doing. And again, a day of reaping this week would be the 31st and 1st. So things are very much coming into focus around the end of the week. And this would be a really good time to look at what you need to focus on with money. This card is reminding you to possibly be a little bit more open in partnering up with somebody when it comes to solving something, working on something, receiving some help. Many of you may be used to having people come to you. this is a time where you might want to go to them. I can see that you can do this on your own, but there could be an advantage to not having to carry all of the weight. But ultimately, Nine of Pentacles is good. It is sustainable. It is growth almost at its maximum. And it's saying, if you've done well, by the way, this is because this is spiritual tea, spilling the tea. Spirit's saying, for those of you that have worked hard, yeah, you can splurge. You can take care of yourself right now. And if you haven't, then keep working to create the balance, because some good stuff is around the corner, okay? So be real with yourself. If you need to balance things out, do it. If you're in a really good place, have a sort of mini splurge or celebration, because life requires that sort of reset sometimes. If we're working hard all the time, but we're never really being present and celebrating, then we miss opportunities to just enjoy and really connect with why we're doing all of this hard work. I think it's going to be a busy week, folks. Here, Eight of Wands is showing rapid motion. We want to make sure that this is what I was talking about twice in the channel messages. It's the intention and the target and the focus. So we can kind of see this guy doing it here. So in the Three of Wands, he's setting his sights on something. And then that really helps you here for the Eight of Wands, so that when all of the rockets are flying, you know that they're going in the right direction, and you can focus on multitasking. So getting organized, getting clear, staying focused throughout this week is going to be a key component to success. One thing here with the Eight of Wands that you don't see in this card, there's a lot of other people that are associated with getting those wands into motion. So if you need help or support, you can always lean on them as well. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else. Ammunition. Because we have a really specific one. There are often rockets here, but what are you doing to make sure that you have the ammunition? This is going to be sleep, diet, exercise, to go to the next level. What are you making sure to also ensure that whatever it is that you're doing can carry through in the momentum? So this is maintenance and delegation, because we want it to be like a fine-oiled machine where you can kind of just step back in it and it works, right? So maintenance, vision, and continuing to sort of realize that you're going to have to multitask this week in order to be successful. So Cups keeps coming through. And this is, again, checking in with the heart space. Does it feel right? Do I like it? Do I want it? Checking in with someone else. How do you feel? Does this make sense? Empathy and clarity with this particular page, and communicating your feelings. And this is the hardest thing, by the way, for many of us. We have learned to build a wall and not necessarily share our feelings with others. And so in this week in particular, it's going to be very, very important to gently start to break down the wall, to be a lot more vulnerable, a lot more present. And in doing so, it actually builds trust when you know where someone stands. So allowing yourself to just be, it's not necessarily too vulnerable, but just a little bit more clear emotionally. And by the way, this can simply be, I'm really great, like, it can be gratitude. You can say to somebody, I'm so grateful to be a part of this. It could also be appreciation. Thank you so much for the hard work you're doing. I notice it. It matters to me. Thank you. So the little things, paying attention to the little things and showing people that you love and care, it makes all the difference in partnership, in work, and in friendship. Thank you for, I literally said that to one of my friends this week. Thank you for being a friend. Thanks for like the Golden Girls thing, but like, I really appreciate the last 20 years or so. And it's true. And people don't hear it in real time enough. So there you go. I've said it a couple times, but I think it's really important for us to express that gratitude. The little things matter. Okay? All right. So let's look at what you're coming through as. So there could be a lot going on. And again, you're like, what do I do? What do I focus on? The cool thing with the Seven of Cups is it's options, it's opportunities. Don't get too much in your headspace. I mentioned at the beginning, Knight of Wands is overthinking it because she's in the reverse state. If she just says, let's do it, it's going to happen a lot faster. Pick the low-hanging fruit, pick the thing that feels the strongest, the best, the most sort of like interesting to you, and just move with it. And then I feel like things will then go from that question mark to fireworks, because in the environment, we actually have the Sun card, which represents light, movement, passion, and things starting to move around you. There's often a depiction of lovers on the Sun card. And it's interesting because this is opening you up for partnership. This is very independent. But one of the strengths this week can be in letting people in a little bit. And there's room for more than one star in a relationship. We saw in the 7-day forecast, the Queen of Wands that had the 2 lions on it. And I mentioned it was like 2 stars. So like attracts like. This is in the environment. So there's a sun-like energy that sees you because what? You're the sun too. So have some fun this week and know that you might be pulling in a like-minded, strong-working leader. This reminds me of the Journey song, Wheel in the Sky, because the sun has a big wheel or cog behind it. So one of the other things that I want to mention here is things will continue to move in a new direction. So if you are at a point where you don't like where you're at, tomorrow's a new day. The day after that's a new day. Every day is a reset. Wheel in the Sky keeps on turning. Wheel of Fortune keeps on turning. It's like the other song by a group in the 70s, To Everything, Turn, 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 which was like a quotation from religious text. Movement. It's basically saying movement is key. And as long as you can lean into change, lean into movement, then you can also start to feel emboldened, empowered, etc. Okay? So good energy here. This is also, there are 2 chemistry cards. The Magician is great. The Sun is better. So with the Sun, there could be someone in your life that you feel it. You feel the connection. And because of the illustration here, I feel like they feel it too. So whether it's a friend, a business colleague, or lover, now is the time to really work more together, because you can make some great things together, okay? Great energy, great dance of creation. And thanks, it's the birds. The song, To Everything, Turn, Turn. All right, here's the big spiritual tease so far, which is the Devil in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunity. Only say you're going to do it if you're going to do it. Only spend time with someone that, like if you're dating someone, if the mutual attraction is there. If there's not a spark, don't fake it. If you're not interested, release your connection to something so that someone better can come into your life and also into the other person's life. If there's a secret, it's going to see the light of day. Try to say what you feel in the most kindest and I would just say the truest form this week, because that's going to set you free. And that's going to get you out of this energy of feeling kind of like stuck, right? So the Devil is really encouraging you to be as honest as possible. We see that there's, in this card, there's a devil that's pulling the strings. So you may actually get a revelation moment where you see through to someone's intentions. It doesn't have to be like they're the puppeteer, but you can see maybe why they were doing something and trust it when you see it. There could also be someone in your life that reveals their true colors. I was having brunch with a friend yesterday, actually, and I recalled an incident where there was someone in my life that said, I'm a bad person. And I thought they just had low self-esteem, but no, they showed up as a bad friend, actually. And I thought later, I was like, well, I can't get that angry because they warned me that they weren't ready. And this other ways this could come through is if someone says, you're too good for me. Just think to yourself, wow, I thank you for the clarity. I'm sorry. I'm glad that you gave it to me. You don't have to apologize. If somebody just shows up, or I don't think I can give you what you need in a relationship. Don't say, oh baby, it's okay. Okay. Thanks for the honesty. Thanks for saving me time. I wish you would have said it sooner, but thank you. So whenever somebody reveals that they can't do what you think they should be doing, don't try to talk them out of their honesty. They're showing the true colors. Liberate yourself from that and say, okay, thank you. That's the best thing. Don't apologize. Say thanks. And don't try to be a therapist with them because you think it's low self-esteem. It's usually just honesty creeping through. Say, okay, I appreciate the clarity, and then you move on to something else. When it comes to contracts this week, it's really, really important to make sure that you understand what you're signing. So we saw the Ace of Swords in the 7-day forecast that was reversed. This is why. There's something there that isn't equal, that isn't balanced. And you have to weigh it out and think, I don't know if that's worth it. So advocate for your absolute worth this week. Hold people to be accountable to their promises and commitments. And the most difficult thing is to accept when people disappoint you. Don't get angry, be grateful, like, oh, okay. Now, you can try to understand what's going on with them, but don't try to change the devil. The devil is the devil. And if people aren't ready or able to change, accept that and move forward, okay? Biggest spiritual tea moment that came through is that piece right there. Thankfully, it's in the most malleable space in the whole spread. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We're going to lean into the opportunities piece. You have an opportunity to let this energy go, okay? The Hermit as the outcome. So this is like Gandalf, right? This is your chance to really lean into your own. When we think of Gandalf, actually, he embodies a lot of great things. He doesn't tell you what to do, but he tries to help you see the path. His function in the book, he was one of the Astari, or he was like Archangel, basically, that came to Middle-earth to kindle the fire in humankind, get people off the dark path, and to fight the darkness itself. But he never made someone do something. He helped illuminate the path, and he sometimes kind of like shook them to their senses, and he was like, this isn't what you should be doing, but he never told them not to do it or what to do. He was just encouraging. So much like we just talked about with the devil, you could play the role of Gandalf this week and just keep the door open, shine the light. Literally, the hermit has the light. Now, he has an hourglass here, which we'll talk about, but typically it's a lantern. So you shine a light on possibilities. People get free will on this planet. They can choose it or they can lose it. But you're going to continue to walk the path of light and continue to do the right thing and lean into your wisdom, and don't let this tempt you, taunt you, bully you, or distract you, because those are all things that the devil does. Time. Time is an illusion. It could happen faster than you think, or it could happen in exactly the right amount of time. So I have something that's going on right now, like project-wise, that it was 10 years ago I thought something was going to happen, now it's happening now. And the interesting thing is when a synchronicity presents itself, because I realize that's what's going on, and maybe in a year or two when this has come to fruition, I'll talk more about it. But when it comes, it just feels easy. I'm like, yeah, of course it's happening now, because I don't want it so much. I still want it, but I'm not so invested or emotionally attached to it that I can't think clearly. I can think really clearly now because I've been through a lot. So sometimes you need the time to get the wisdom. And ironically, when you've almost let it go, it comes rushing in. So if there's something that you're too attached to, it's time to take a step back, and that's what the Hermit's about. It will come when you're not so attached. And I as a spiritual person and as a human, that's frustrating sometimes, but I get it from the other side now. 10 years later, I'm like, okay, yeah, because I understand that there's no need to rush something that matters, right? So take a step back and just trust in the cosmic timing. On the same sort of lens, you don't have to struggle for something to work. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. If it isn't, there's something else. Explore. There's a lot of paths. There might be 3 paths in front of you with the 3 of Wands. And again, you want to go to the opportunity or the path that is most engaging and trust that if it's meant to happen, it'll come around again. Okay? Like the Carly Simon song. 3 songs today in the reading. All right, so far, the spiritual tea is not that bad, except it got really heavy here around the devil and the hermit. And as we kind of expand here, we'll see what else Spirit has to say. To that end, we're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with mind, body, and spirit, your health card. Your oracle card here is a crow again. So we started off with the crow card. We have another one coming through, clarity, which is what I said at the beginning. It's so fun. And then I had to say it again because of the weird internet blip. Anyway, clarity, destiny, and clairvoyance. This is interesting because I mentioned that oftentimes, and it came up in the Virgo reading too, but like 2 of Wands and High Priestess. It's my favorite pairing when we're looking at manifestation, because 2 of Wands leads you to the high priestess. It's exploring, it's clarifying, it's saying, I want this. Then the high priestess comes in and says, okay, I'll show you how to make it happen. So getting clear, connecting to your destiny, and then you're opening the high priestess, but it happens with planning and envisioning and tuning in. The hermit also empowers this as well. But it's so important in this moment to get clear. So the biggest piece here right now, again, besides the devil and the hermit, is this clarity. And that came through in the live channeling. The crow is interesting because this is also spirit trying to communicate with you. Spirit communicates in so many ways. It's not just clairvoyance. It's not just hearing something. It can be running into somebody and they speak a phrase that your grandparent or your mother or a friend used to say, and it reminds you of something. Or you hear a song on the radio that takes you back to childhood or an important moment. Or you see a billboard or a license plate or something online randomly that just connects you to, oh, I'd forgotten about that. Spirit can help you be at the right place to see it. And that's basically it. It can help you get where you need to be to get that, and then it hopefully sets that in that kind of like aha moment or light bulb moment. So take time to tune in. This is the health component of it, meditation. But it's not just Om. It can be Two of Wands, which is sketching it out, talking to somebody, just imagining and dreaming in the best possible way. We also have Seven of Cups, which is also daydreaming. We don't take time to dream enough as adults. As little kids, all the time, pretend. I mean, you know, I'm glad that I grew up before iPads and digital devices because we did used to play games and go outside and imagine things. I think kids still do it, but maybe not as much. So whether you're part of the newer generation or just as an adult, you don't take time, I'd love you to do something this week where you just get outside. For me, hiking will allow me to do that. So getting into nature, putting the phone in my pocket, turning the watch on Do Not Disturb, and just enjoying the scenery. Really, really important. Do something to tune in, okay? Let's see what's coming through with health, with the reminder that I am an intuitive, a psychic medium, and a tarot reader. I'm not a doctor. So if something's going on in your body, get the help that you need. But I'm going to look at what might be triggering reactions in the body. So here we go. We got to go to El Diablo, the devil. For many of you, there could be a habit that you want to let go of. So this could be drinking, smoking, eating the wrong things, not exercising, whatever. This is about understanding that the hold that it has on you isn't as strong as you think. We see the strings attached to the people here. So one thing that I had to do because I was on some medication earlier this summer for all my allergies, I ended up having like acid reflux. So I had to cut out all coffee, all fizzy drinks, anything that was acidic, anything with tomato. It was like all these changes. And after a month, I was like, I actually don't miss most of that. It's fine. I can still do tea, but like, and I'll get back there. It's just a matter of like building your stomach up again. But sometimes you think that I need to have this, and after a week, you're like, I don't really need to have this. Sometimes we need help and partnership, though, to get over that. So obviously, different giving up coffee is a lot different than cigarettes, for instance, or drinking. But things that seem to have a hold on you with time, because he's holding the sort of hourglass, with time and space, they have less of a hold. And when they no longer have a hold, then you have your power back and you can focus on things and you can get clear and you can manifest. So spiritual tea is something seems important, but it's not the end all be all that you think it is. But you don't have to do it alone. And in fact, you shouldn't, because we have the sun right beneath it. And the sun on this one is a partnership card. Okay. So lean on support. Absolutely. So whether it's a friend, a professional, a doctor, whomever, that's the first thing. There's a lot going on between this and this. There may be one too many things, or there may be too much investment from you in one area. So it's about making sure that you're not trying to do it all. I love wands because you can step back and be more powerful. In fact, we see it right here. So this person is solely focused on it's like a conductor, multitasking, making sure that everything is happening. This person is looking at opportunities, researching, developing. And so you can do less and do it better. And I think this week in your life in general, activities, focal points, whatever it is that you're kind of putting on your schedule, trim it a bit. Push something out a week or two and say, yes, let's still do it, but how about the second week of next month or something like that? Just give yourself time and space so that there's more to give. That's even how you can say it. Say, I want to do it, but I'm too busy this week and I want to give you my full attention. If anybody doesn't like that, I mean, I don't know what to say. That's more of an indication of what? The devil card. They want more than you can give, or they want too much. So you have to put your boundaries out there. Okay? Okay. Let's see what else is coming through. Concentration, focus. There may be so for some of you, this could also be just working in a place where there's a ton of distractions. People might be talking too much. Again, it could be an open workspace. There could be construction. There could also be a lack of instruction, so you don't know what you're supposed to be focusing on. So dealing with the distractions and getting the mental acuity and clarity that you need. Whatever you need to do to get that, that's going to help you connect to your clairvoyance, okay? So yeah, I don't know who's asking about boundaries, but yes, boundaries is important. That is definitely a part of the Six of Pentacles. And just basically, it's not just boundaries, it's delegation sometimes too. So you can say, I'll focus on this. Why don't you take this? If you're in a position to do that. Otherwise, you can say, I can only do this. What do you want to do about this? And you can have the boss or the other decision maker figure that out. But you're basically saying what you can commit to this week. I think that ultimately this can just be fear or anxiety because it's in hopes, fears, and opportunity, and the devil is the ultimate fear card. So really not letting fear get in the way of attempting something. You've heard me say that multiple times, like if you don't attempt, it's a surefire way to fail, but if you try, you might actually succeed. So why not give it a shot? You have better odds of trying than not trying, right? And that's pretty much everything. It's a good week overall for health. We just saw like possibly a temptation or an old habit that needs to leave. We have boundaries and clarity coming through. Once you get that under control, things are okay. Maybe a headache with the Knight of Wands, but it's more of like a stress headache is what I'm picking up on. Let's move on to wealth. All right, secrets. We don't want secrets this week because we got the devil card. They have a way of coming to the light of day, basically. And so in wealth, this is really interesting. So sometimes we are asked to keep a secret that shouldn't be kept. So this is when it's something that's not legal. And then you might be a whistleblower in that situation. But here's what I'm getting at, because we're looking at something before it happens. Don't sign an NDA if it doesn't feel right. Don't commit to something if you know you can't keep the secret, and don't do something that feels wrong. It's not worth it. Secrets usually aren't good in those situations. There is a time and a place when you're working on something that is patented, or if you're like a creative person and you're doing a project like an album or something and you don't want it to leak out there, you have to be, those things are fine. But if someone makes you keep a secret and it feels wrong, don't do it. And that's the main thing here. And then also, we're looking at wealth. So this is really interesting. This is a much easier interpretation of it. Not every family talks about money, right? Sometimes parents will try to keep the fact that they got laid off, or that there's debt, or that they're stressed about money from you. Or they just had bad habits because we got the devil card and you're worried like, gosh, all of this stuff, we never talked about it. So you can just get empowerment this month, or this week rather, and really say, you know what, I'm going to learn more about this. That is on them. That is not me. I'm breaking a familial, an ancestral, or an environmental sort of like karma that I don't need or want anymore. So bring it into the light of day. Okay. And secrets, they usually do find a way of coming out here. So again, when something is shown, when there's a revelation, accept it for what it is. Okay? All right. Let's look at this in three major categories. There's a couple of subcategories in each, but we're going to look at those that have a job, including entrepreneurs. Then we'll look at those that are job seeking. Then we'll go to students and retirees. We're going to start off with people that have a traditional 9-to-5 job. What I like right now is that there's a lot going on. In fact, You may have limited resources, or people that are spending resources not in the right way. Because I see a lot of money and resources, and then I see a control energy here that is kind of like trying to keep or take more than it should, even though there's optimistic energy here, and there's probably someone that knows better here. So be the voice of reason. If people are not, like, a lot of times this can be a company that doesn't reinvest in its own well-being. So they're not upgrading equipment, they're not hiring new people, they're not giving raises or promotions. Also, if they're not doing that, like, one thing, this is spiritual tea time. If it's not happening, that's how it's going to be. You may have a chance to find another job and try to get a sort of like, what is it called when you come back? But they offer another offer. I never think it's worth it to honestly have that sort of situation, because you're forcing someone to appreciate you, right? And so if you have to go elsewhere to have then your own old employer give you a better offer, remember this: they didn't appreciate you the first time, and now they see you as a flight risk. And although you may temporarily get advancement or money, you may not get it in the long run, and they may try to find a replacement for you. So it's not worth it to push someone. I don't think. There's maybe rare occasions where they're just like, oh, we really had no idea. And you can sort that out. But still, it means it's something to pay attention to if it took that for them to say, don't go away. I think it's important also in this period in time not to burn bridges. So to be professional if you are considering leaving. I think it's also really important to be cognizant of not getting involved in something that is not legal because of the devil card. If you can avoid and skirt those things, then things are actually okay. So there is something here that's a little dicey. You have the wisdom to overcome that. Power in numbers, work with other people, speak to that sort of red flag and make sure that you don't get pulled into that direction. Overall, here's what I think the biggest challenges are for people that are a regular company. You're like, Nicholas, it's fine. There may be a lack of clarity in the leadership. They just don't tell you what they want, but they expect you to do it, and then they complain when you don't, right? There could be a micromanager. The devil is like the ultimate micromanager. They're coming in and saying, have you done that yet? Or wait a sec, I know you're going to do this right, but are you doing it right? And it's like, just stop, please. It's not allowing me to focus. There's a gatekeeper. You might be in a place where there's someone that has arbitrary power and they yield it unnecessarily. So rather than showing you how to do something, they're like, you have to come to me, and then I have to look at this, and I have to do the rubber stamp. Sometimes you have to work with an arbitrary gatekeeper, but I'm just acknowledging that it's there. I think you can get a lot done this week. I think resources are flowing. I think leadership is lacking. I think clarity is lacking. So you're going to have to work on dealing with poor leadership or lack of clarity, or both. And in doing so, you'll be fine. Keep to yourself. I think that's the main thing here. Keep in your swim lane. Speak up when you need to. Don't commit to something that feels wrong. If you do that, you'll be fine. And it feels like you know some of these things already exist. The other thing for some of you could be a glass ceiling, and the devil is just a limit or control. And also it could be someone that doesn't want you to go to the next level. So let's say you're doing great, because I think you are with especially with the sun card here. So there may be an opportunity, but someone's trying to hold you back. I had that happen once to me, where someone tried to block the transfer. I went from one group to another, but I just talked to human resources, and they stopped that because it's not legal, actually. And you can't badmouth someone that's doing a good job. So sometimes there's just someone that doesn't want to let go, and then they try to get even or something. So just be mindful. There's some sort of weird energy there that you're going to see it and avoid it. And then really ask yourself, is that going to be something that I want to continue to have to do to tiptoe around? Because the devil energy typically doesn't want to change, right? So be mindful of the problem and think, how big is it? And is it something that I want to deal with in the long run? It could just be a lack of, again, like I said, resources or leadership. And again, that's up to you if you want to stay. Okay, moving on to entrepreneurs. This is interesting. It's in hopes, fears, and opportunities. So for some of you, there may be a fear, a fear of being seen. This could also be for those that are working, but I'm getting it in the entrepreneur area. Because the sun is very visible, just like a star energy. Part of the power and part of the success of your company is your face or your voice or you. It's your face card, as kids would say now. But like, there's something about you that you want to stay in the background. So allow people to see more of you and who you are. That could actually help. I also think that for some of you, what I was talking about in a company could be true for you. There is a fear that if I spend, I'm not going to have enough. I actually think you could reinvest in your company in a way that makes sense. So like when I had to move here again, instead of getting the same camera, I got a 4K one so that it would be a better broadcast experience for the main camera. So sometimes you have to upgrade and just take a leap and say, this is worth it, right? And I got a better mic, and if I'm going to replace it, I'm going to get one step up. So do that if you have a small business. You don't have to do it all at once, but you could decide to slowly do better and know that people will appreciate that, okay? Don't overcommit. We have holiday season coming up. Make sure that you are, you're keeping a little bit of, just sort of contingency so that you can keep up with demand, okay? All right. For everybody else, now let's take a look at job seekers. Job seekers, you can find something. We have the sun here in the environment. You have a couple of options here. First of all, this is the saboteur, the inner saboteur, because now we're looking at like fears again. So this might be, I'm never going to be able to get out of this. I'm never going to find something. It's never going to happen. The devil loves that. Keep thinking it. That's what the devil is thinking. I'm here to tell you, no, don't think that. Stop trying to focus so much on the time. It will happen. You can work on telling the universe that you're ready now, but don't strangle out a synchronicity by focusing on, but it's not happening, it's not happening. Just keep putting the energy into what matters, focusing on what the right opportunities, and trust that they'll be in alignment. There was a period, and it was a long time ago, but I remember it. It was probably 6 months where I was under and then ultimately unemployed, so about half a year, and I was fresh out of school. And I remember that some of my friends, and I had to temporarily live with some family, and people didn't know how to act around me. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just figuring out the next move, and I don't want to just jump. And the economy sucked at the time, so there's nothing I could do. But I went from that period into having one of the best jobs of my career. But it took me 6 months. And it's hard. It's hard to be in limbo for that. But one night I just thought, no, this is what I want to do. It's going to happen. It has to happen. There was this it was clarity, and I felt very good, and I was very optimistic when I sent out an email, and it was on New Year's Eve, and then I heard back that next week. So know that you can turn the knob, but I want to get you out of the I can't, I won't, it's not, into simply saying, I just have to focus on where the connection is, where is the energy, where do I feel most powerfully connected? And then you're okay. Tune out your parents, your friends, and just stop looking at LinkedIn sometimes and all these things that make you feel less than. All right, where do I see the job? Let's take a look here. Again, with this, it could be outside of your traditional border. So looking in something in a different place, different industry, different geographical location. I think that it's worth, really advocate for your worth. You may not get everything that you want, but you'll get more than maybe the initial offer is. I see a lowball offer coming through, which isn't worth it. Some of you might be looking at going to school or going into an educational job or a leadership job. I like that with the Hermit energy here. It feels like someone will be drawn to you here. We have the sun. There could be an unsolicited message, maybe because you say I'm looking for a job or something on LinkedIn, but or you've told someone and they get back to you like a friend. That's actually where I think the power is. A friend or colleague might be able to connect you to something. And there might be something that's not announced. The secret could be good. That is how I got my job. I did a cold application for a job that I felt should exist, and it did exist. I guess I was intuitive, right? But 22 years ago or 24 years ago, I wasn't as clear on that. I just had the feeling, I'm like, I should apply here and I should tell them about this. And I did. And they're like, we're hiring and we haven't announced it. So sometimes you have to just reach out to people where you see a gap. And this kind of puts you back into the entrepreneurial thing. Maybe you can start your own business, or you can be a consultant, or you can say, I can help you this way. Do you have this position there? If not, let's talk. And that shows that you are communicative, bold, knowing who you are. So that's something that's coming through as I'm looking at that. Okay, let's move on to students. Students, you're actually doing all right now, because Three of Wands shows me you're where you need to be. Knight of Wands, absorbing things. A lot going on, but not too much. There could be a professor that annoys you to no end. There could also be a fear of like what happens after this. The fear is normal. That's where you would lean on someone or get an internship or talk around a little bit. But this could be really difficult. I mean, we're kind of too far into a semester now to drop a class. I remember that. There are two ways that you can drop it, like the first week or two without penalty, but then usually there's a penalty. Once in my collegiate career, I still took the penalty because I'm like, no, this is a mismatch. Nobody cares. Nobody's asking for my transcript. I can't even remember which semester it was in. I still had a good GPA. You would have to drill into it. And it was a genetics class. I bit off more than I can chew. I would just say it wasn't even what I was studying. And I needed more science than I had. And I knew that I was not going to pass the class. So sometimes you have to make a hard call. But if it is just a teacher that drives you crazy, sometimes you just have to acquiesce and get the credit done. So make that call. So there were times where I was like, this is not the right way, but I'm like halfway through. Let's just do it their way. And then when I get out into the work world, I'll do it my way. Because sometimes school is arbitrary. It's old ways of thinking, and you're probably ahead of the curve. So I'm just validating that. But you're going to be fine. Basically, I see that trigger, but it's a manageable trigger. Okay? Now, let's move on to retirees. It's interesting because when you have freedom, it can be scary. Some of you are very used to having that micromanagement or someone pulling the strings, and now you get to do whatever you want to do. We have Sun and Hermit here. Take some time to figure out what moves you, what inspires you, what's next. I think back to my dad, who was so used to working in a corporate career. He had no idea what to do with retirement. My mom had a lot more fun, but he was so used to having a boss and pleasing the boss and performing that, like, when it came to everyday life, it was just sort of like, now what do I do? He did a couple part-time jobs after retirement that helped, but I think it's very important to still have things that inspire you. So it could be volunteer work, right? It could be taking a class and just auditing it for fun. It could be getting involved with the community, helping youth, whatever it is that you want to do. Like, I still think you should have stuff that excites you and keeps the mind active. That keeps you young. An active mind is a young mind. For those of you that aren't lost, there could simply be one thing out of your control right now, and you're not going to let that spiral you out. What we see instead is a chance to actually get a lot done this month, very productive. I feel decently good about your finances right now with Six of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. There might be a better way to balance out your investments, making sure that they're not all tied up in the long term, particularly when you're retired. But overall, it's pretty good. A little bit of this can be like a lot of daydreaming, a lot of confusion, like what to do next. So I think it's important to figure out like what it is you want to focus on, right? All right. But ultimately, there could be love coming in, and this is a nice segue into the next piece. Love or friendship I'm seeing for retirees, or connections. So let's go into love since we were highlighting it. We have the book here. This reminds me of an Akashic lesson or message that's coming through. She's reaching towards a book called Alchemy. So you might be transmuting or changing something. But I looked at this, and what came to mind was Akasha or Akashic records. So Akashic records are the records of your life, basically. Everybody has this permanent record that's all your lifetimes put together, and basically it's your soul's business to kind of go there when it needs to go there. But contained within this is karma and reasons why certain things have happened. And if you tap into your intuition in this period of time in a core relationship, it could be your lover, it could be your parent, your best friend, and there's something going on, you can overcome it. It feels like you're ready to graduate a lesson karmically. And relationships are playing big karmic lessons in the week ahead. So let's take a look and see what the spiritual tea has to say in this respect. All right, we're going to look at three major categories: those in a relationship looking for love, or happily single. If you're in a relationship, divine feminine energy, we haven't paid attention to the catalyst in a minute, but it's coming through. And karmically, I think it's important to look at your relationship with your parents, because we can look at the divine feminine as mother or father, but how was that? Because that definitely plays a role in current relationships, how our parents either lifted us up or kind of like pushed us down. It could also just be your own sort of feeling towards yourself, like love and acceptance, because that's what divine feminine can represent. And there could be a little bit of healing to do on self-acceptance, self-love. That's then going to affect how you interact with others. Looking at the partnership in current relationships, here's what I see. It feels like you've been working hard to find a better balance here with the Six of Pentacles. So I just want to acknowledge that. One of the things that I'm picking up on here, these are two of the most independent cards. We have minor and major arcana here, but she works best on her own. He works best on his own. We need to have a meeting of the minds here. Something needs to happen between Nine of Pentacles and the Hermit. Control is one of the biggest karmic energies that's coming forth with the Devil. And if we look at deep past, like past lifetimes, Devil energy can represent unrequited love or inconvenient love. So you love someone, but they're married. Or you love someone, but they don't love you back. Or someone cheats on you, doesn't keep a promise. So in this lifetime, the most important thing in this karmic relationship or in the karma of your Akashic records is honesty, integrity, and accountability. Those are biggies, right? But if you can embody honesty, integrity, and accountability, and then convey the importance of that to your partner, you're on the right track. But you have to walk the walk. Because if you don't walk the walk, you can't talk the talk on this one. So embody all of those things and expect it then from others. What are the challenges besides that karmic energy? A lack of clarity. I joke, but I'm not joking. Like I met with a fellow intuitive this week that I've known for a long time. And I've said this before, if I have to pull out tarot cards in a relationship, it's probably at a point that it shouldn't be. Like, what am I doing? So yes, I can pull cards, but interestingly enough, like in a day-to-day friendship, or if I was in a permanent relationship with someone, long-term relationship, I shouldn't have to. I should just be able to have a conversation with them. It shouldn't be that much work. We should be able to communicate. And also I could just close my eyes and kind of tune in and see like, what are we doing here? But if I have to pull a full Celtic Cross on a relationship, I'm like, okay, we're in an interesting situation. This is usually because someone isn't clear. They are obtuse, they are abstract, they are possibly not telling the truth or keeping a secret, right? So I'm just going to go straight in and say, let's talk about this. I know something's up. What's going on? You know, let's cut to the chase. I think that's the best thing. Go straight to your partner if something doesn't smell or seem or feel right. If you or your partner had a secret and it comes to the light of day, the best thing that you can do is talk about why it was hard to communicate that and just don't do that again, right? I do think that in the long run, things are going to be okay here. We have achieving balance, being, I mentioned like wearing your heart on your sleeve or being more transparent here. And then there's wisdom that comes from that. Sometimes we're just afraid to say how we feel. There's not a lot of swords. There's no swords. Let's correct myself here. There's no swords here. I want to see like the Queen of Swords or the Ace of Swords or the Knight of Swords, more communication. One of the partners may communicate non-verbally. They're like, I show you that I love you, but you might need to hear it. And so just a little bit more communication. But overall, it's manageable, folks. This is in a malleable space. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to make a mountain out of a molehill. There may have been a reason that they didn't talk about something. So just say, that's not like you. Why didn't you feel comfortable doing it? And what can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen again? Okay. There also could just be a third party, and this could be a parent, a friend, or an ex that's kind of, or like sometimes we also have connections to someone, like if you're divorced and there's a partner and you share a child, they're going to be a part of your life, but this could be a tricky personality. So you're going to work together to figure out how to manage that tricky personality. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to those of you that are looking for love. Can you find it? This could be a Capricorn. Yes, this could be a Capricorn. We also have, you shouldn't need to pull cards on this either. The Sun card is instant chemistry. And it could be all cylinders, like you connect on the mental cylinder, you have the same passions, and you also have that sort of like attraction, mutual attraction. So we could have just this really vibrant Capricorn energy coming through. However, you could be meeting someone that isn't ready. They're not ready to get serious. They may be getting out of a divorce. They may be dating someone else. They may just not want to sort of like show up in the way that you need to. Be mindful of that. There could also be someone in the background that's trying to get your attention or is shy. So we have someone that may be obvious, but there's now someone in the background that might be a better match. So take your time to look around. You have more than one option. Whoever's from the past, and I think it might be this Knight of Wands, needs to stay in the past. There's a Page of Cups in the near future that might be better, and I think they're more connected to the Hermit. I feel like if there is a Capricorn energy, that they might be attached, or there just may be someone else that's attached. Let them be. Focus instead on the person that's available and a little shy. They're either younger or inexperienced. That's what I'm picking up on, or both. And so you may have, you're playing more of a role of a mentor here. There could be an age gap too. And this is interesting. I mean, sometimes you're going to feel like the outsider, or like, how do you not get this reference? So think about that before you enter into the relationship. If you're single and happy right now, good for you. I think in this moment in time, there's a lot of opportunity to take an idea and develop it. I think you have a lot going on in your social calendar. I think that you may even be a little bit overcommitted. I think that there's fear or anxiety about like what's next or what to focus on. But the big opportunity this month is personal development. So take some time to really just get comfortable with yourself. I think it's perfect time to be single and happy. And this can also just be society and family pushing you to do something you don't want to do. You're like, literally, Nicholas is reading Single and Happy. I am single and happy. That's why I group those together. It doesn't mean that the other groupings aren't, but I wanted to normalize that you can choose a path of being single, and it's completely acceptable. We don't see it enough, especially on these stupid Hallmark movies. Everyone is successful, and they have to move back to an old town and give up their path, and they have to fall in love with an ex from high school, and they have to live in the old town. I'm like, come on. You don't have to do that. You can be single, successful, and happy, or you can fall in love with the high school football team captain or whatever. Like, it's your own path. Don't let Hallmark or a book or society tell you what it needs to be. We're entering into that season where there's silly movies everywhere. Maybe the best one when we're looking at holiday movies is Love Actually, because there's a lot of messy stuff in that one. There is someone who gets cheated on but stays with their husband. There's someone who just ends up staying single. There's someone that loves someone that doesn't love them back. They kind of went through all the different tropes and showed it. So that's maybe slightly more accurate. Still lots of problems with that movie, but it doesn't always end up in a nicely wrapped bow. Sometimes it's a mess. Sometimes it's just fine. Don't worry too much. That's the main takeaway here as we go into soon holiday season. Okay, let's move on to Destiny. I love this. And by the way, this connects with our accidental bonus card this week because I had to go back and restate everything since the live stream was delayed. In order to get into the energy of abundance, your Ace of Cups needs to overflow. So all the stuff that I was just ranting about is important. You have to be comfortable with yourself. When you love and accept and celebrate who you are, then it's a lot easier for other people to love and celebrate and accept who you are. And you start to pull in more people, and it becomes like the sun energy here that we see. It's easier. So focus on personal healing, loving, accepting, and celebrating yourself. Do some things in your life that just bring love and joy, and that will connect you to more abundance. You can do it with or without other people, but know this, the Ace of Cups wants to overflow by the end of this week if you're open to it. So give yourself permission to be happy and love yourself where you're at. That's now the next big spiritual T is, and I think it's a takeaway, and I would title that, this would be the title of the video, is love yourself where you're at and help yourself get to the next level. If you can't love yourself, at least accept yourself where you're at and encourage yourself that it's exactly where you need to be. But I'm going to say love and accept yourself where you're at. And then you can start to build from there. Because if you don't love and accept yourself, hatred it's not something that lifts you up. It's not something that's going to help you grow. There has to be love and acceptance. That's the big thing coming through. Let's go to a big idea now and see what have we missed thus far here in this moment in time. What do you need to be focusing on, spiritually speaking? All right, so don't force the connection, don't come on too strong, and work harder, not smarter. 7 of Wands in reverse. This comes through because why you're successful. 6 of Wands precedes it. Because you are able, successful, and worthy, it's okay not to make everyone happy. It's okay not to do everything. And we're getting back into this, discernment, saying no, etc. So push back and know that it's okay. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to do less, and it's better not to overextend yourself in this moment. And by the way, I enjoy a good corny movie as much as an ex-person. But if you watch too many of them, you start to, I'm looking at the comments, you start to believe that this is normal. It's not normal, and it's not every day what's showing up there. It can make you feel better sometimes. Just like you, I like to watch a romantic comedy and just kind of escape and say, well, that's nice, but it's really pretend, isn't it? So know the difference between fantasy and reality, and know that if your reality doesn't mesh with fantasy, that's okay. You get to write your own story. You get to be your own author and your own rom-com. So make your own happy ending, folks. It's not going to necessarily be what you see on TV. It could be better, or it could be very different. And different can be better too. Let's meditate for a moment, and then I'll look at one last card. I'm sure you have at least one more question, so just scribble it down or hold it in your mind, but let's meditate first. Apollo's in the other room, or I would put him up on the camera. Take a moment now and close your eyes. I'd like you to imagine, I see roses, so that's nice. Imagine that you are in a beautiful English garden, sitting down on a nice bench, and as you close your eyes, you can smell all of these beautiful pink roses that are in bloom around you. You can also feel the energy of pollinators, bees, butterflies, moths, and hummingbirds. And you feel this sense of movement and healing in your life. And in this moment in time, because we got the beautiful card connected with abundance, tell the universe you're ready for something sweeter. You're ready for your own happy ending, whatever that might look like. Close your eyes and feel now that you are actually cocooning yourself in beautiful rose-colored energy. You're wrapping it from the very tip of your head to the tips of your toes. You can smell rose energy as well. Rose is beautiful. It's also a holy sort of symbol. So feel that you are being kind of anointed by the rose. You've been through the thorns. Now you're ready for the blossom of the rose. And things are going to get sweeter. Maybe this week you might even connect with like rose hip tea or jam, or do something with rose essence to help yourself get into that energy of love and self-acceptance, because it does melt away some of the pricklies, some of the thorns in our lives. If there's anyone or anything that you want to let go of, smell that, take a nice deep inhale, smell the beautiful rose tinted energy, and then let it go. Send it into the sky above and just see only this beautiful pink colored energy all throughout your body. When you're ready, open your eyes and turn your attention to one final question. I'm going to pull one final card. Lovely. This is what I mean. This is a perfect sort of like bookend to the center one. So earlier we had the Three of Swords, right, that came through. And I believe it was at the midweek, right? And I said the next natural progression in this is letting it go. So you can see the person here with the sword beneath them, the three above. And what does it do? It takes time, folks, for healing. I want you to slow down. Four of Swords in reverse is like running and running and running, going from one thing to another to another. Why? Or it's rushing to the finish line, or thinking that when something's over, it will be better. Not necessarily. I actually feel like the journey can be just as fulfilling And sometimes when you achieve something, it's anticlimactic, and then you have to think of what's next. You're right where you need to be. Enjoy, rest, recalibrate. Take it easy today. Don't overdo it. Sleeping, dreaming, meditating. Look at that little raven in the corner there. Let spirit speak to you. This is also when I'm the most connected, is in dreams. So let go and let spirit kind of flow through you. That's the big thing right now. So as a yes or no, I would say this is a no, generally speaking. Four of Swords, unless you're asking, should I let it go? Should I let it go? Yes. Should you do it? Four of Swords is saying, sleep on it, slow down. There's something more to see. Or it's not intriguing enough. It's not energetic enough. It's not inspiring enough to be worthy of your time, energy, and attention right now. And I also think that you're going to reconnect with your passion. It will come back, but it is just a matter of slowing down long enough to say, what do I want next, right? Give yourself a chance to dream, folks. Okay, let's take a few moments now just for general thanks and gratitude. First and foremost, if you like this and you're brand new, subscribe. That way you'll get a notification, usually, Google permitting, when I put something new out. Also, hit the thumbs up on the video itself, and then hit the bell icon. You can say how much you'd like to receive, like personalized or all. That way you'll get everything that you need as far as notifications go. As a fail-safe, because we know that sometimes the app doesn't always work or you just don't get the email, it's also worth following me on the social media of your choice. I'm on all major platforms as my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. And you can go to the main YouTube channel page here and you'll see all the links right underneath. It'll say like 13 plus, and you can see them there. You can also go to my website if you need additional information, and all the links are there. Remember, I don't offer private readings. I do not use direct messages to reach out to people. So if someone's saying, I feel drawn to you, or, hit me up on WhatsApp, block them, report them, and let me know what they're doing, because that is tomfoolery. If you want to show love and support, you can do it right here through an official channel. You can become a member. You can give back with a super sticker or super chat. You can leave a comment. All of these are great ways to show support. To that end, I'd like to say thanks for everybody for showing up. Before I do that, just a couple of quick moments of housekeeping. So by the end of the week, all the rest of the readings will go up. As many of you know, I got sick this month, and I was just sick for about 10 days, actually 14 days in total, but for 10 days I could barely do more than the daily reading. So that's why it's delayed. I took care of myself. I'll have more to give and the readings will be better. So I'll do them this week, and they'll all be out by the 1st, by the way. I might have the last one out on the 1st, but just be patient with me. And then we'll go in normal order next month. So Aries, you'll get 2 back to back, and that'll be your bonus. We're going to do a special Halloween reading. Time to be decided. I'll probably do it early afternoon. I figured if I do it around 2 o'clock, then in most parts of the world, like in Europe, I know it'll be evening. I can hit people on the East Coast before they go trick-or-treating or partying or whatever. So it'll probably be after lunch Pacific time, or around lunch Hawaii time. So more to come on that. I'll announce it. I'll put it up a couple days before and advertise it. And we'll still have our weekend collective as well. So there'll be a lot going on. It's going to be a busy week, but it's a fun week. And thanks, everybody. All right, now for gratitude. Let's see what's going on here. So I want to start off with those who gave back with a membership, or with, either became a member or gifted memberships. So let's see. We have a decent amount today. I'll try saying first names. Apologies for any mispronunciations. Yuri, Nature Lover, Melanie, Samantha, TD, Anna, Bonnie, Kim K, Lynette, Angie, Piper, and Louisa. Thanks, guys. Thanks for either joining or thanks to those that gifted them. Let's take a moment to celebrate anybody that had an anniversary here as being a member, or who also decided to use their free monthly chat and say something. So give me a second here, and we'll see what we've got. So I think there were a few people. I named all of them, Nature Lover, Anna, and Louisa before it even began. They became members. Lydia, 50 months, 50. That's insane and awesome. Thank you for being here so long. That's like pre-pandemic almost, so thank you. And I'm glad that you enjoy what's going on here. Wendy, thanks for gifting a membership. I appreciate that. Colette, you gifted 5. You're a rock star. Thank you so much. And I think that's everybody that gifted. So thanks to those that gifted and celebrated anniversaries. Let's take a moment now for those who gave back with a super sticker or super chat. What have we got here? We have Color Me Happy, cute name, Lydia, Colette, Monica, Annabella, and Snowbird. Thanks, guys. And I think I got everybody. Much gratitude to all of you. Thanks for putting up with the blip at the beginning. I believe everything's for a reason. I had like better channel messages the second time around. So sometimes the universe knows best, right? Thanks everybody for your love and support. Let me grab Apollo and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, we have Sleeping Beauty here. Just saying lots of love. Thanks, buddy, for the kisses. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support today. I'm going to walk this little lovely creature. and I wish all of you love, happiness, and also a little bit of fun this 31st. So show up on Halloween, and we'll ring in the sort of holiday together. All right. Take care, everyone. Much love and light. Bye-bye.